Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we have successfully created one of the profile page, right? And also here I display our username, email and your full name. So that's all that our default, all that field, that means you are our user, all that field. So now I want to add another form for our user, change form. So as I told you, if you go to the documentation, and they have also one of the form, that is our user change form. So how can working with this user change form? In this video I will show you that things with a live example. So for doing this, first of all, in our form area I want to add it. That means I have already created one of the custom form in our app logging, and that is our custom form, right? So into the custom form area I want to update it. So first of all, here we have to load it. We have to input our this class, that is our user change form class. I just simply copy it, and here after this I first of all I load it. Okay, so that is our user change form. And then I want to create another class. I want to create another class for our change profile. So I name it as a user profile change. So whatever you want, so right now I name it as a user profile change, and in particular this parameter area we have to pass our this class as a user change form class. I just simply pass it. Okay, and after that I want to create another class as a, that will be as a meta class, right? So I name it as a meta, and into the meta class area first of all I want to load our model, and with the model, that means I want to load our user model. That is our user, and to the user area I want to add all that our fields, which field you want to update, that means which field you want to change. I add all that our fields. So our fields I want to add our username, that means username I want to change that email, that is another one, email I want to change, and also I want to add another our all that field. So as I told you, into the user, if you go to our user model area, here they have some of the field as username, password, email, first name and the last name. So now I want to take this as a first name. I want to change that our first name, that is our first name field, and then the another one will be as a last name. So I added as a last name, and then our password. So I added another one, that will be our field name. Our field name will be as a password, right? So now I added our username, email, first name, last name and password. So now we have to create one of the functions, right? We have to create one of the function for our this user change. So that is in our app logging, and if you go to that view, so after that I want to create another function, and I just name it as a dev, and I name that function as user underscore change. So that will be our function name. And also if you want to access this function, this user must have to logging. So for the reasons I added as a logging is required, and then our function name as a user change, and here we have to pass that request, right? And also here we want to load one of the form. So for the reasons here we have to do the same things that we did that before, but here this change, that means when this user wants to change this profile, that already this user is logging, right? So here we have to get our this current user. So if you want to get that current user, better I take one of the variable, I name it as a current. Okay, current underscore user, and this current user means our request. So that is our request. With this request, which user is already logging, right? That means our current user, I take it without this variable as a current user. So now I want to load our form. That means from, and from I have already created one of the custom class. So that means in our form area, so that is our user profile change, right? So that is the class we have to first of all input it. So I want to actually access it. That means if you want to access it, first of all you have to load it. That means in our form I have already loaded our sign up. So now I want to add another one, that will be our user profile change, right friend? I hope it's very much clear to you. So now with this this class With this class I have already loaded our all that fields. That means it should be loaded one of the field as a username, the email, first name, last name, and the password, right? So when I run it, then everything will be more clear to you. So now with this form, that will be our user profile change, that is our custom one of the form. And now I want to do here, it should be passed. So here it should be passed our instant current user data. Because of all, right now I am already logged in and this user already have some of the username, right? This user has already some of the username. It may also have some of the email address. So the for the reasons here we have to add that instance. So I name it as instance. So here I name it as instance. Instant and instance what? Instant, that means our this requested user, that means which user is already logged in. So this the user request user, I take the things with this variable and here I simply pass it. That means our into the form area which user is already logged in and this user have some of the instance data. So I just simply take it. Okay, and after that I want to put our if condition. That means if our request method, it should be just like that same before actually method. So it should be the request method. First of all it should be check that is post method or not. So with this post method, and then we have to add again our form, and then our this form will be our user profile changes, right friend? And then here we have to pass that our request, that means the request our post. So I just simply pass it, and also from here we have to pass our instant user data. That means which user, this user already have some of the data. For the reasons here we have to pass it, right? And after that I want to check that user is that means this form is valid or not. So I put as if our form is underscore valid, if is valid or not. So I want to check it, it should be just like that same. If is valid, I want to save our this form. I just simply save this form, right? And after that also here we have to do into the if condition. Here I want to return on the render. So return render, it should be passed two of this parameter. One will be as a request and then our file. So in our app logging, into the app logging, I want to create one of the page. That means in our app logging here I want to create one of the file and I name it as a change profile. Okay, change underscore profile .html. So that will be one of the page. I copy it. So I have created as a change profile. So I want to load it on here. In our app logging, I have created one of the page as a change profile.html. And also that is our form. I have to load our this user profile changes and take the things with this variable as a form. So now we have to pass this form in our change profile.html page. So if you want to pass it, we have to pass it with the diction. So I just name it with the context, and then that is our diction. Into the diction area I want to pass our key. Our key is the form, sorry, our key will be our form. So I simply pass our form, right friend? So now we can actually access our form in our change profile.html. That means that is our change profile HTML. So I hope it's very much clear to you friend. And also after that save, that means here when this user will change everything, when this user will change that profile updated, then also we have to update our new data, right? We have to update our new data and it should be set in our this user area. Like right now they have I have already added one of the username as a test. So if you want to change it, then it should be as a test1. So here also you have to save this current user data. So for the reasons after that save, here we have to add that our form, into the form area. I want to update it in our profile. That means into the user profile area. Here we have to update it in our this instant current user. Okay, so that means our new current user data will be updated. So here make that sure you add it, and then I pass our form. I just simply pass that form in our context area, and now we can actually access it in our change profile.html page. That means here. So it should be just like our It's just like our logging. Okay, I just simply copy it, and now here I paste it, so it will be extended our base HTML. And also here I load one of the form. For the reasons I load the crispy forms and the tags, and then our block title will be as a change profile. Okay, it will be as a change profile. It will be as a change profile, that means the user profile. Okay, change user profile. And then our body block, so it will be as a you can name it as a profile, that means the user profile update or change. Okay, so this type of one of the text, it should be visible. And then that will be one of the form, it should be as a method will be post. And also from our view, from to the view I pass that form. So now we have to use it. So that is our form I loaded, and also I loaded the crispy. And then there is a CSRF token, and then there is our button, and button name will be as a change. Okay, I name it as a button name will be as a change, then and form, and then and block. Perfect. So now for our this change profile, I want to create one of the URL, that means in our app logging, and that is our URL. Here I want to create one of the another URL and paste it. So it will be as a change profile, change and profile. And then in our view, I have created one of the into the view I have created that function name as a user change. So now I just simply add our view user change and then just name it as a user change. Okay, friend. So now I want to create one of the button. So in our profile page here, after this I want to create one of the button for the change profile. Then our this change profile form will be loaded. So for doing this, that is in our profile, and that is our profile. If you go to that our view, so into the profile I have loaded our app logging and profile.html, right? So that is our profile HTML. So after this, here I want to take one of the bracket first, and after that bracket I take one of the href and I name it as a change. Okay, so it will be as a change profile info. So this type of one of the button, it should be visible. Okay, so it should be a display as a change profile info. And also if you want to put that one of the class, that means the button class as a btn, and I name it as earning. Okay, btn earning and btn sm, that means the small size. And also I have already created one of the route, that means so I have already created one of the path. So if you want to use it, you can use it. So here you have to make that with the URL, that means URL, and into the URL area if you go to our URL, that will be our app name as a app logging, right? So I just added as a app logging, and then our URL path as a user change. So I just simply copy, and now in our profile here, after this I name it as a user change. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, I click as a save all. First of all, I want to check our server. Yeah, you can see it's now perfectly running. And now I want to refresh our profile page. Yeah, you can see there is actually our button as a change profile info. Now if you click as a change profile info, yes, you can see friend, it's now perfectly redirected to our change profile page. And into the change profile page area, I have loaded one of the custom field, that is our all that field. You can see there is a username, there is the email, there is our first name, last name, and the password. So now if you want to update your email address, as I name it as a test@gmail.com, and I put as a Kazi, and then last name as a Aryan, and then that is a clear password, right? So now I want to change it. That means I want to update our email address, first name, last name, and the password. Click as a change. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly updated. And if you go to our profile, yes, you can see now it's visible our email address, and also it's visible our first name and the last name. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. And also if you go to our change profile, into the change profile, that is our password, right? So if you want to update that password, so for the password they have the 3 different class. So how can update this password? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.